when he died, we actually found a letter of thank you from the president, like from the CIA, thanking him for his help in that whole mess, which was amazing because we didn't know that. Yeah, he fought Castro. He actually knew Castro, not personally, but he worked in the college that Castro went to, way before all of this happened. And
Guys,
Unbelievable.
I
yeah,
didn't, I don't know. I was so busy talking. Jessica, I was not watching that feed.
yeah.
I think you told me about that a long time ago, but
Oh
that
yeah.
is just incredible, man.
Oh, totally. I mean, it was amazing, and the whole embargo thing. I always thought it was kind of silly because of the what you guys said, the hypocrisy of it. But in the same sense, I feel like right now doing like getting rid of it. Okay, fine, you're getting rid of it, but I feel like it's a little too late. And there's got to be somebody's hand. There's got to be some greasing of the wheels going on in the Castro's favor to let this happen. To like do this and do some other things. I feel like it's not going to be good for the Cuban people. I just don't know what the angle is yet.
No, and again, I think it's two separate stories in terms of gross in exchange for these three Cuban spies. That'd be a great movie in and of itself, Housem. But yeah, there has to be more to it because Obama is perhaps somebody said this morning on might have been Bolton or someone is perhaps the worst negotiator in the Oval Office, at least in modern history. I mean, every time this guy puts a deal together, the U.S. bends over. So there's got to be something going on here.
Oh yeah, I feel like the U.S. is definitely not going to be on the winning end of this. Now to find out what that is, I'm actually gonna be in Miami this weekend. So I mean not this weekend, but for Christmas, and we'll see. I'm gonna see what my family is talking about with this.
And
Yeah,
Should be
not that we're going
that's
to talk.
interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Michael. Not that we should talk about this for a whole lot longer, but
yeah,
there has been this fear for years. That the moneyed expats, the Cubans in Miami and other places, if let's assume, I mean, not through overthrow or whatever have you, that communism goes away in Cuba. There has been this thought or this fear among some that if the wealthy Cubans return, or children of those who left, and it's not done properly, that the whole thing could get screwed up all over again. In terms of taking advantage of the people and
well, yeah.
the various classes and so forth. So it's always been an interesting story to
Well,
me.
that's
And
the thing. I think I kind of agree with that. I mean, these people have been living in basically it's almost the same as North Korea. These people have been living in uh, these substandards for so long. I don't see even the people that have been living there for a long time how that's all they know. A lot of them, that's all they know. So they accept it, and it's crazy. It would be really interesting to see what would happen, but I think there would be a long way to getting cleaned up.
And again, if you have a bunch of wealthy Cubans, who want it their way, rush in from Cuba. I mean, in effect, to your point, Jessica, I mean, the Cuban population kind of basically children as it relates to kind of knowing what's going on, and I would suspect would be gullible, would be naive, and could be taken advantage of if the thing was not done properly.
Oh yeah.
Anyway. All right, Michael, let's move on, man. You got a couple of cool things to talk about. Did you want to hit that Kyle thing?
Yeah, I thought this was incredibly interesting. And this was, let me pull this thing up. This is something that our editor at IJ Review put up, oh gosh, it was late last night. And it's ijreview.com. Kyle Becker put it up, and it's one woman's letter to her ex-husband's new wife is going super viral, and it's not hard to see why. So I'm just going to read this because it's so interesting. And it was put up, it was on some blog somewhere. And a woman wrote a letter to her ex-husband's new wife. So, you guys, I mean, I don't know. I think whatever percentage of Americans either have been divorced or related to somebody who's been divorced might be close to 100%.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just super interesting. Um, to my daughter's stepmom. Now, again, the setup on this, it's a woman writing a letter to the wife of her ex-husband, okay? To my daughter's stepmom, I never wanted you here. You simply were never part of the plan. Growing up and dreaming of my family, I never included you. I didn't want help from another woman to raise my child. The plan was for my family to include me, daddy, and our children, not you. I doubt you ever wanted me in your life. I doubt you planned to mother a child that you didn't give birth to. I can bet that your plan for your family included you, daddy, and your children together, not me or my daughter. I can almost bet that when you dreamed of becoming a mother, it would be the day you gave birth and not the day you married your husband. I'm pretty sure you never planned on me being here. But God has plans that far exceed our own, and when my little family dissolved to form two families, I knew you would be coming. In my mind, you would be a terrible beast, and my daughter would not want you to mother her at all, ever. I was hoping that you would be semi-unattractive, and prayed my daughter wouldn't look up to you. Her daddy would know that he was settling for second best. Evil swirled in me because I never wanted to face the fact that another woman would mother my child in my absence. Then you arrived. When I first met you, I'll admit you weren't what I had in mind, and a twinge of jealousy shot through my body. You were supposed to be hideous, remember? But you weren't. You were stunningly beautiful. You were supposed to be a mean old hag, remember? But you weren't. You were a sweet young woman. My plans were foiled. I realized by the look on your face that meeting me was just as hard as it was for me to meet you. My heart immediately softened. Dang your kind smile. I was planning on really hating you. Why are you ruining my plan? I wanted to resent you, but you made it impossible, and I quickly grew thankful for you. You've accepted our daughter from the very start and have unconditionally loved both her and her daddy. That's a true gift to all of us. You've included your daughter in everything you do and make her feel loved and accepted. You put a relationship with her daddy above yours, and only a brave and courageous woman knows how to do that. All right, I'm going to skip to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I promise to always respect your input for our daughter. I promise to never lessen the position you hold in her life or make you feel like you are not her mother. I promise to raise her to be grateful to have two strong and brave women in her life that have the courage to mother her together. Even though our situation is peaceful, I pray that she is never in it. But if she ever finds herself here, I promise to set an example for her what co-parenting should look like. Precious woman, you are a rare and beautiful gem. God bless you, and I love you.
And then read the response.
It was super quick. Okay, so this is the new wife to the mother of her stepdaughter, right? To the ex-wife. Candace, I don't know what to say. I'm not good with words like you are in the way you express yourself. All I can say is I'm crying. I'm crying like at the end of the Notebook. You make me feel so special. Thank you for this letter. It made my day, and I will keep it close to my heart always. Love you.
You know, as you set this up, you know, we all, some of us, been involved in situations. We know people who face this, who have gone through this in their lives, and I don't know what the percentages are, but you know, lots of times there is bitterness, right? There is anger, there is hurt, and all kinds of weird stuff going on. But this is pretty amazing, Michael.
Yeah, it really is. In fact, it's funny. I put this up on my Facebook wall. And there are two particular people that commented on it that I know their particular circumstances. And I'm not aware if there's ever been a letter exchange between the women involved. But if there were a letter exchange, and both these people are, one of them is a very good friend of mine. Another one is somebody else, Mike, that you and I both know. If there is a letter that has gone back and forth between the women in those circumstances, I guarantee you it would be the exact polar opposite of what I just read here.
You know, and listen, I mean, hurt causes lots of bad things to happen, and hurt feelings are very often displayed as anger. And yeah, I mean, you badmouth the stepmom to the daughter. I mean, you try to separate, you try to divide, you try to check loyalty in some again, maybe insecure way or whatever. And so, man, what I thought about when I read this letter from this extraordinary woman was the old kind of like, you would hope, I would hope that had I been in a situation like that, that you would have had, man, whatever it is that she has, to act accordingly or similar. And man, I don't know, man. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's it's a case where the interests of the child are put first. I mean, obviously, we have no idea what the circumstances are that led to the divorce, but the reality is life is extraordinarily messy. Plans and dreams and hopes sometimes get crushed. Life doesn't work out the way you want it to, because it turns out we're all human beings. I don't know. I mean, she puts this together as being part of God's plan. I don't know if I'd go that far. But be that as it may, the response that both of these women have had, it reminds me of my daughter, my youngest, was telling me that she was at a birthday party a month or two ago, and this little girl was there, and both of her moms are pregnant. And the way she said that, I was like, what? Explain that. I mean, I was thinking, Heather has two mommies kind of thing. And it turns out that, and my 8-year-old has absolutely no idea the details, but a couple divorced. They both remarried. The husband remarried a longtime friend, and the woman remarried another longtime friend. Both women ended up getting pregnant almost exactly at the same time.
Wow.
So my daughter's at a birthday party and celebrating this little girl. Both her mom and her stepmom are there. Both her mom and her stepmom have kids growing inside of them. The dad and the stepdad are there. And, regardless of what the private feelings are, and that after a divorce, there's always private feelings. The question is how public those feelings become. And as far as my little 8-year-old was concerned, everybody was there celebrating the birthday of her little friend. And I just thought, you know what? That is beautiful.
That is
And that's
beautiful.
It's not beautiful in the sense of
Sure.
idealized
Right,
and the
right.
way everybody hopes it happens. That's not the way it happens, but it's like this letter is indicative of the same type of spirit, and I love it.
The closest, I guess, real life example, although I used to talk to her quite a bit, but when I had my financial planning for my office manager, she had one daughter who was a teenager. In fact, she was going to IU by the time I left that business. But she and her husband had divorced. Oh man, years earlier, and she had then had a relationship that I don't know to this day that they've ever gotten married. They might as well be married. They love each other to death. But with John, let's call him her new guy, as it were. And it was kind of like that. They were all like John and the husband were friends. The previous husband or the ex-husband were friends. The daughter loved John, the new guy, to death. Sometimes they would go to dinner together. And to me, that all seems a bit uncomfortable because maybe, being I don't know, an alpha male or whatever, I just don't know that I could do that. And that's wrong, by the way, I think, to an extent. But yeah, people that can get beyond, do put the past behind and do what's right for the child and be cordial with one another. I think it's incredible. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see here that they're planning on spending the holidays vacationing together, but there's a level of mutual respect and affection and understanding of where they are in each other's life that's a very big deal. Anyway, we are now at the bottom of the hour. Hold on, RJ Moeller is going to be on here in just a couple of minutes after the break. You've been listening to The Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back in just a second.